Good morning. Welcome to the Working Trader, where we look at the Euro USD and GBP USD and come up with trade ideas for the day. So let's jump right into it. Looking at Forex Factory, we have news for the pound. That's at 7. Well, so that's 7 a.m. UK time. So that means for the rest of the day we won't have much. So the big news will be obviously tomorrow, where we have CPI for the pound, and then we also have FOMC meeting minutes. So these will be the key drivers for the pairs tomorrow. Okay. Yesterday we didn't have any news. It was also President's Day in the United States, and the markets were so slow. So let's look into it. So, looking at the Euro USD, starting with the Euro USD. So, this was our daily yesterday. As you can see right now, the market is not really moving. So, overall, long-term bias, we are bullish. Okay. However, in the short term, as you can see, price has been retracing after it reacted from this supply. Okay, so we are pulling back. Okay, so we could be pulling back into this area right there. Okay, that fractal demand. So we could be pulling back into that area, or we could just be pulling back to sweep this low, this previous day low, and then after that, we have a push up. So in terms of, obviously the higher time frame trades right now doesn't look like there's much going on. Okay, because the market is pretty much ranging or moving in very tight and small ranges. So you may only be looking maybe at getting something on the lower time frames, the 5 minute, 1 minute executions. Okay. So that's the same. So looking at the pound, so you can see the pound and the USD, they are very similar in terms of the structure. So from the daily perspective, the swing and the internal, they are both bullish. Okay. And then we've been having this pullback. Okay. And then now we're having this very corrective shallow retrace again. Okay. After we mitigated this supply. Okay. Which is still in control because the supply was not violated. Okay, so price came up but did not break the supply. Okay, so and then we have these relatively equal lows. Okay, so the expectation is price will continue bearish, at least to take out these lows. Okay, this is looking at very short term, possibly intraday trades. Okay, so looking at the 4-hour. So looking at the 4-hour, so jump onto Euro USD first. So looking at the 4-hour, this was our swing break. Okay, this is our week high because we've had this very strong pullback. Okay, and then we did have a retrace either way of this internal pullback. Okay, so now we've had this retrace into this 4-hour supply. Okay, that is nested in this daily supply, and then we've had a reaction. Now from there, price has been very, very slow. Okay, price action has been very, very slow. Okay, so we have this low right there. So the way I'm looking at it is maybe after we get the sweep, okay, then we may have a bit of a strong push up. Okay, to maybe take out all of these areas, right, all of this consolidation, or we have these relatively equal highs as well. Okay, so this and that could then be a target once we sweep this. Okay, if we sweep that and then we get a reaction, then these areas would be a target, and then this area as well could be a target. So this is what I'm anticipating. And then looking at the 1 hour, so we have our internal break of structure, okay, bullish, and then sub-internal has been starting to pull back, okay. We've had this internal or sub-internal break, okay, and then we've had a strong push down. So this is our range in which we are working with, okay. So price is in this range, and after NFP, this was NFP day, last week Wednesday, where we had a strong push, but then after that price is just consolidated, and then now just creating this trend line, okay. So which is why I'm saying I would be anticipating that I'm gonna wait for a sweep of these lows, or of this low, okay. This low gets taken, then start looking for reasons to go long, okay, because we have that trend line to target, and then we have relatively equal highs as well to target at the top. Okay, so that means we have resting liquidity there and resting liquidity up here as well. So once we take this low, I might be looking for any excuse to go long. Okay, so this is what we have on the Euro USD. So looking down maybe on the, so let's switch over to the pound. So for H, and then go to on the pound. Alright, so our swing, this is where we had our last swing break. Okay, bullish. Let's see. So we had our swing break bullish, and then this is the range we're in. This is the range we're in. And then since then, price has been breaking structure to the downside, coming down. So internally we are bearish, and then this is the range for the internal that we have. And then after break of structure, we expect price to pull back. So we had this pullback. Let me make this cleaner. So this is the range of the internal that we're in, and then we have a break of structure. After every break, we then expect price to pull back, and then this was the pullback we had. So this time we had a pullback all the way to the extreme, okay, so to our extreme supply, which is that one, which was also nested in the daily supply as well. And then we had an initial reaction, and then price came back and swept those highs before making the push lower. So obviously the push was then facilitated by the NFP that we had, and then so since NFP price hasn't been moving really, so it's been a bit choppy. Ideally we're hoping that maybe when CPI happened on Friday we'd have a stronger move, but we didn't have anything. It had a slight retracement as well, and yesterday price just pulling down or pushing down slowly as well. So obviously yesterday, because of the President's Day, so there wasn't much going on. So we have relatively equal lows, okay. So expectation is that we may sweep these. Once we take those lows, let's see, on the pound there's not much, so we may take these lows, okay, and then maybe have a reaction to come back to this extreme supply, which is newly created, okay, which was created from the sweep that we had before. And then so we might have a push like that. So let me correct this. So we might have a push, then come back, and then continue lower, because we'll be targeting this week for our low. Okay, so we'll be targeting this 4-hour low, because this is weak, right? So looking at the 1 hour, so looking at the 1 hour, this is our high and this is our low, and this is the range we are in. Okay, so as you can see, the 4-hour internal and the 1-hour internal, they are exactly the same. So we've had a strong pullback into the extreme, mitigated this 1-hour supply, and then we broke structure to the downside, and then we start to see demand areas on the 1-hour fail. And then after every break, we expect a pullback. Okay, so after we broke this internal or sub-internal, right, we expect a pullback. We had a pullback. This one did not come back to the extreme, but we had a pullback, and then we had a sweep of these relatively equal highs, and then after that we had another push down, and then after every break we expect another pullback, and then yesterday we had a pullback into this area, and then now price is continuing down. So expectation is that eventually this demand is going to fail. Okay, I had been anticipating that it was going to fail last week. It didn't. Okay, we had a strong reaction based on CPI. Okay, but we've had multiple mitigations of the zone. So we've had 1 touch, 2, 3, 4. So what you notice is with every move into the zone, we're getting deeper and deeper. Okay, so we're getting deeper mitigations into the zone. So now whatever mitigation we're going to get most likely is going to breach this demand zone, is going to fail. Okay, and then once the demand zone fails, then we could look for something to go long short term. Okay, we could look for reasons to go long short term. And then the targets would be, would be anywhere. Let's see. All right, so so anywhere around these areas would be a good target. Okay, would be a good target. So that's pretty much my analysis on the Euro USD and on the pound dollar. Okay, so right now the price action is very slow. Okay, so it may not be very clear at times. Okay, so if you're not comfortable, then this is the time where you just sit out and you just look at the markets, watch them play out, and then until we have clear price action, clear strong candles like this, like these clear movements, okay, then until we have that, you might decide to just wait it out, okay, because this is where you find yourself taking a lot of unnecessary losses. Okay, so obviously on the lower time frames, 15 minutes, 5 minute, 3 minute, 1 minute, there are lots of entries that you can find, but also you start introducing a lot of variance, and then once you start having too many trades without restrictions, then you also introduce too many losses as well. So you don't want to blow your account. Okay, but nonetheless, this is my analysis for today. Hopefully you find this helpful, and it might give you some ideas for trades for yourself. Okay, so if you find this material helpful, please do like and subscribe, and leave a comment and let me know how you're finding value with this material. Otherwise, have a good day, and Working Trader out.